Okay, hey my buddies in Math Book 7-6, this review is for you. So we're going to go over this review like we did in class, study this so that you can do well on the test because the test is going to ask the same kind of questions, just different numbers. All right, so the first one, what is the difference between the sum of 0.2 and 0.3 and the product of 0.2 and 0.3? Well, we need to understand a lot of things. First of all, they're asking for difference, so that means we're going to subtract. But we're going to subtract the sum, so we're going to add those two, and the product, so we're going to multiply those two, right? So let's look at the answer sheet. All right, so I wrote it up as an algebraic equation. So 0.2 plus 0.3, well, that's just going to be 0.5, right? 0.5 minus, now, what is 0.2 times 0.3? Here's where you can't just do this. So you have to say, all right, well, 2 times 3 is 6, right? But how many decimal places do I have? 1, 2. So my answer is 0.06. So I have 0.5, or think of it as 50, minus 6. So I'm going to put my 0.5 and just think of it as 50. So I'm going to borrow from that. It's going to be 4. That's going to be a 10. So it's going to be 0.44. Did you get how we did that? Right? Because when you multiply, you have to count the decimal places. That's why the decimal had to go over how many places? 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Number 2 just says round to the nearest tenth. Okay, well, we don't have to worry about this number. We don't even have to worry about this number. We just have to worry about this number. How does that affect the tenth? Well, is 4 less than 5? Yes, it is. So when we round, we don't have to do anything but leave it as 3, 12.3. Okay? Now here, we're going to compare 3/4 and 11/16. Well, I can't do that because I have different decimals and I have no idea. But what do I have to multiply 4 by to equal 16? 4. That's right, 4. So let's change this to a fraction with the denominator of 16. So if I multiply this times 4, I'm going to multiply that times 4. Well, look, 12/16. Is that greater than 11/16? Yes, it is. Ding-a-ding. Now, number 4, we're going to do right on the test here because we have to look at this coordinate plane. So it says, which point on this coordinate plane has the coordinates of 2 and -3? Well, remember, x is named first, then y. So let's go to x. We go over 2 and then down 3 because that's negative. 1, 2, 3. And what point is that? It's really this one down here. So it's pointing to D. So that would be D. You would just write D on your answer test. Then it says, well, what are the coordinates of C on this plane? Well, we do x first, so we went over 1, 2, 3. So it'd be 3, comma, remember they're in parentheses. Then how many down did we go? Here's -1, here's -2. So 3, -2. And that would be the coordinates for point C. Okay, now, what is the name of a 5-sided polygon? You just need to know this, people. This is 6 sides. This is a pyramid. We don't even care about that. Pentagon. That's 5 sides. Penta means 5. All right, number 7. Factor down 45. Well, I know that 5 times 9 is 45, and I know that 5 is a prime, so I'm going to circle that. And then what two numbers multiplied equals 9? Well, 3 and 3. So there you go. I have factored it down. And if I wanted to, I could even do this. 3, how many 3's did I have? 2 times 5. How many 5's? Just 1. Ta-da! There you go. Now, it wants you to write 1/4 as a decimal. Well, you can think money, 1/4. What would that look like if you were writing money? How many cents? 25 cents, right? So it'd be 0.25. Now, let's say, I didn't know that. So I'm going to divide 4 into 1. So let's see, how can I do this? 4, where my hand's not in the way, goes into 1.0. Well, it goes 0.2. That would be 8. I'd have 2 left over, drop down of, oh, look at that. Ta-da! Same answer. So to get a decimal, you divide the denominator into the numerator. Now, number 9. Let's look at 9. It says, what is the greatest common factor? Factors, remember, are the numbers that when you multiply it, you end up with the answer of 6. So if I'm going to list all my factors, so 6 would be 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Do I have anything else that can? No. How about 8? I have 1 and 8, 2 and 4, and that's it. 12, I have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Now, man, I have 6 and 6, but 8, dumb old 8 is keeping us down. So what's the greatest common factor of all three numbers? 2. 2 is the only one that all three numbers have in common. So 2 would be the greatest factor. Now the least common multiple, that means I'm going to multiply 6 times 1 is 6 times 2 is 12 times, okay? So I'm going to start with 24. I mean, I just gave it away. I'm going to start with 12. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. Okay, now I know I can get 24 here, right? And since 12 times 2, that's going to be my least common, or that's going to be my least multiple of 12. So 6 times 2 is 12, times 3 is 18, times 4 is 24. 8 times 2 is 16, times 3 is 24. So what is the least common multiple? Least common multiple of those three numbers, and that is going to be 24. Okay? Factors, what numbers do you multiply to get the numbers they're asking you about? Okay, they give you these numbers, so what numbers multiply equal that? Least common multiple are, well, the answers to multiplication problems, right? This is a multiple of 6. All right. Number 11. I think all the rest of it I had written. So number 11 says 6 minus 3.7 plus 0.48. So let's first add that. Remember, we have to line up the decimals. So I have my 0 here, 0.48, and I'm adding it. So if I want to imagine there's a 0 there, I can. So I'm going to add these. So 0 and 8 is 8. 7 and 4 is 11. Carry the 1. Keep my decimal lined up. So I have 4.18, little bug flying, is the sum. Now I have to subtract this from 6. So I'm going to go over here. 6, and I'm just going to put some zeros here since I know that I have this 4.18 over here. So I subtract, I'm going to borrow. There. So 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 1 is 8. Point. Keep my decimals in a line. 5 minus 4 is 1. So my answer is 1.82. All right, now here we have multiplication. So I'm just going to set it up like this. Multiply here. That's 6. And that's 3. And I'm done. I don't have to do the zeros because that would be all zeros, right? But I need to count how many decimal places do I have. 1, 2. So my decimal has to be here. I can put a 0 in front if I want. 0.36. 5 divided by 0.4. Now we can do this a couple of different ways. I'm going to show you the decimal way first. So I have 0.4 goes into 5. Well, I want this to be a whole number, so I'm going to move my decimal over here. I'm going to move this decimal one place over, so now I have 4 goes into 50. Well, 4 goes into 5 once, right? 4 goes into 10 twice. Now I have to add a 0, and it goes in there 5, so it'd be 12 and a half. Okay, that's one way to do it. The other way I could have done it is, well, 0.4 is really the same as 4/10, right? So 4 over 10. I could even reduce that to 2 over 5, because 2 goes in there 2 times, 2 goes in there 5 times. Now I can do this. 5 over 1 times the reciprocal 5 over 2. And I'm going to get 25 over 2. And I'm going to divide 2 into 25. 1. Get a 5. Goes in there 2 times. And guess what? It's going to be the same answer. So you can do it either way, and you're going to get the same answer. All right, 14.5 divided by 100. We want to know how much is left. So our decimal is going to go over to the left. How many places? How many zeros? 1, 2, so it goes over 2 places. Boom, boom. So the answer is 0.145. Bam, done. All right, I'm going to end this video because I can't upload long videos, and we will do the rest on part 2.